Would I head over to Irvine for an extra $700? You bet your ass I would. So it's Black Friday. Of course I'm excited to get out here and start running. I mean, when I look at like Black Fridays in the past, it was actually, I can't remember if it was last year or the year before, but there was one year where I got out here and it was like my record night, my personal record night for Amazon. It was, I think I put up like $2,700 in one night of staying local. So, you know, anytime a Black Friday comes around, of course I'm excited to see it. Kind of got what I would call a low-key night in trucking planned. You know, rather than going out and having nothing, tonight I actually have 2 loads booked. One, I was coming out of, my family and I were eating downtown. Amazon gives me a call and the guys offer me this load, and it's like it's starting at Sand 5, ending up at like ONT 5 with a middle stop at Temecula in the middle. And I'm like, you know, what are you thinking about sending this for? Got some people coming up here with a shopping cart. This might get good. Anyway, he calls me up and, you know, I'm like, well, what are you thinking about sending this for? He's like, well, right now it's on the load board for like $550. Maybe we could do $650. And it's like, listen, you called me, you know, a couple days ago. I mean, these were going for $1,000, you know, so like, what's the best thing you could do on that rate? And, anyway, hello. Kind of lost my train of thought there. That could have ended differently, I suppose. Anyway, he's you know, it's like he's trying to let me feel like coming up to $650 is his best offer. And I'm like, you know, I did this the other day for like $1,000. What's the best you can do? How close can you get to $1,000? So we agreed on $650. I mean, hey, did I leave possibly $50, $100, $150 on the table? I might have, but you know, I'm always looking for that like jump off point. And the fact that that one ends up in like the San Bernardino, Ontario area, there's no place I'd rather be than there during that time of night. And so then I started looking, you know, for like connecting loads and everything. That first one, they called me. The second one I found off of the load board. I think I got about an hour between when the first one ends and the second one starts, and I have 22 miles to go. I'm picking up a little PSP1 and taking that. It's a one pick, one stop, ending up at a DUR9 or Temecula. What do I like about tonight? Getting ready. I mean, I just came on duty. It's 8:30 now. I will be at Sand 5 according to this by like 9:05. So I mean, I'm not worried about not making it. But what do I like is that I'm booked out till 5 in the morning. There's no point in looking at the load board unless Amazon cancels something, but I'll keep an eye on that. But there's, you know, it's like I've kind of got my night set up. By the time 5 o'clock rolls around and I'm rolling into Temecula with that trailer, I've got almost $1,400 on the books, so I like that. And then basically I have from like 5 until noon, I've got like a solid 7 hours in there to kind of fill, you know, I can call it a night and say 1,400 is good, or I can keep looking. Don't know, but right now, I just came on duty before recording this. I just pre-tripped the truck, and I'm gonna get down to Sand 5. Man, considering this is Black Friday, this is nothing of a line. There's not a single truck in line. What's going on? Where's all the trucks at? This is for what's today? Today is Friday. For a Friday at this time, this is really light. I mean, there's some guys out here waiting, I'm sure, for their scheduled arrival time. But for a Black Friday, I'd expect that line to be out to like Otay Mesa Road. Two things that have been on my mind to talk about recently, because I've heard from a lot of people. A lot of people get in touch with me through like Instagram, DMs, that type of stuff, will ask me questions. One, those multi-leg trips, I do not book them. I do my search filter. I cap that off at 3 usually. I will occasionally, you'll see me do one that's maybe like a 4 here and there. The problem I have is when Amazon starts putting these, you know, 6, 7, 8, 9 stop trips, when they start canceling legs, you can't tell me how many people get in touch with me. They take a screenshot. They're like, you know, they'll send me something and be like, hey, check out this load I got. And it's like, man, that's great. It's going to pay out $1,000 over the next 9 hours. It almost looks like somebody canceled the block and they relisted it on the load board. And, you know, they're excited. They're going into their day, 8 stops, $1,000 going to be done in like 9 hours. then they'll get back in touch with me at the end of the day, and they're like, man, it sucks. They canceled 3 of the legs, and they send me this thing with red lines going through some of the stops, and it's like they start reducing the payout on those. I don't do that until Amazon changes their policy. My max stops that I'm willing to run for them is 3, maybe 4. And if it's 4, it has to be like, I have to know the sites of like, okay, I know that, like, history's taught me, like, I know that this load's gonna go through. Would I ever book a 4-stop trip to places I didn't know about? Absolutely not. If you look at all the loads I booked, they're either like A to B, or A to B to A, or A to B to C. But I never do, I don't do these, you know, A through H. Never gonna happen. I can't tell you how to run your business. I'm just letting you know how I run mine. If I see multi-stop trips, anything above 4, absolutely not. The other thing is, I've heard from 2 different people in this past week. They're like, have you ever had a shuttle hostler shift get canceled? And it's like, yes, I have. I thought it was so important, I made a 3-part series out of it. One was when it happened, one was like the payment dispute, and then one was the resolution of that payment dispute. Didn't necessarily go my way. And I've talked about it in the past. I don't want to rehash too much of this, but one thing I will tell you is, as far as like a best practice, I'm not here for a shuttle hostler shift tonight. Let me turn on the screen record. This is absolutely necessary. So if I were doing a shuttle hostler shift, I would set an alarm for every hour and take this screen, and once it's got the time on there, and swipe down and record that. Now, you don't need to record it, but right there where it says updated 0 seconds ago, this is where I would get my screenshot, and I can prove, I don't need to edit that, nope, save to photos. I can prove that the hostler shift, assuming this were a hostler shift, was still in my active work queue at 9:28. That was where I'd set that hour timer, and in 1 hour I would do the same thing. Refresh it once it says updated updated 0 seconds ago, and it says 10:28. I'm gonna get a screenshot of that. If at any point during the night I get on there, like let's say I grab one now, and between now and 10:28, that hostler shift is no longer in my work queue, and I go to my trips and I show that it's canceled. Guess what? I'm driving to the guard shack, I'm turning in the TC, I'm turning in the walkie-talkie, and I am done, because I've been down that road before with them, and it's like, oh, you canceled this, and I didn't know. Nobody told me. You had a walkie-talkie. You could have, somebody could have told me. I don't know why they do it. I don't know if it's something nefarious. I don't know if it's a test. All I know is I don't like it, and I think that's like the best practice of refreshing that screen, getting a screen grab of it, proving that it was still in your work queue. And that way there's no question, there's no estimate on what they owe you. You can say, hey, up until 9:28 at night, you agreed to this hourly rate, and here's what you owe me. All right, just made it up here to Temecula, good old DUR9. DUR9 is definitely one of my bottom 3 places to come to. Before this, it was probably like when San Diego used to have the old DSD3. I hated going there, sliding the tandems, going down that sloped angle. What makes this place difficult is this fence. This fence hasn't always been here, but down there where the trucks turn around, they added the fence, and it really gives you limited space as far as like, to pull out and get that curve on the trailer to get it into a spot. I know a more experienced trucker would probably be like, I can back doubles and triples up in there. Cool, I can't. So I sometimes struggle with the one. We'll see how I do tonight. What makes tonight unique is they are gridlocked. Kind of gives me a little bit of time to play with the drone, show you what it looks like, but yeah, they are gridlocked. So there's a truck ahead of me. Basically, they're inside feverishly emptying out these trailers. When they get one emptied, one of these bobtail guys is going to pull it out. That's going to make space for the truck ahead of me, and then the same thing will happen, and then it'll be my turn to dock and get a trailer out of here and head over to ONT5. But he either said he's going to call me, he's got my number from the Amazon system, or he'll come out and talk to me. But basically, I'm truck number 2 right now, just waiting in line. Getting out of ONT5 right now. This place is massive. I've been here before, but tonight it was pretty packed. It is 2:04. I got an hour and 11 minutes to make it over to PSP1. I think it's like 22 miles, so not worried about that. When I got here, I always hate kind of, not that I hate speaking up, but I hate kind of like impeding on somebody else's, like maybe they know what's going on. But I was coming in, and there's this last little turn, and there was a truck. They'd taken the turn kind of tight, and the trailers were going to hit the poles. And I sat there for a minute. I'm like, should I say anything? Should I say anything? And we were stopped in line, and I just went up there kind of politely. I'm like, hey, you got poles on your right hand side. You're getting right hit. And he's like, no, I don't. I'm glad I went up there. I mean, I'm not telling this story to be the hero or anything like that. I just wanted to be sure that he knew they were there. If he got mad at me and was like, "Ah, I know they're there, cool. I don't like that's fine with me." I mentioned it to him, and he's like, "Oh yeah," and so he's like, "Can I back up?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm the truck behind you. I'll be your eyes." He backed up a little bit, did a wider turn, and then ended up not hitting it. So just kind of did my good deed. Again, I hate getting involved in stuff like that, just because it's like you come across a lot of people who are like, "Yeah, I know they're there, you know, F off," and it's like, all right, cool. So I mean, fortunately, I don't really have a lot of ego in this. If somebody were to talk to me that way, it's like, cool, have a good night, take care. But anyway, yeah, it was just kind of good. Gonna definitely make it to PSP1 by the scheduled arrival time, and we're gonna keep this night moving. Back at DUR9 for the second time tonight, or I should say this morning. It's 4:50 right now. I didn't want to book anything, even though this is the last load that I have booked as of right now. I didn't want to book anything until I got here. Since I was here last time and they were gridlocked, got permission to open up the back here. Let's go ahead and open up this back. Since they were gridlocked last time, the last thing I wanted to do was book something like right after this and then find out that, oh, I'm gonna be here for an hour and a half or something like that. See if I left enough room with this pole. Yep, that's just my luck. Didn't leave quite enough room. Yeah, I didn't want to be stuck up here for like an hour and then be late to that next load. Once I get this trailer dropped off, I'm gonna do what I do, maybe spend about 20-30 minutes. They do have some loads up here, but the problem is they're going north, and I'm looking to be going south right about now. So, get this trailer at the dock door, see what's dropping. All right, that trailer is dropped off at DUR9. I just pulled out of there, pulled down one of these other little streets. I think this is like Dos Picos or something like that. I'm outside of a DMV here in Temecula. I am just looking at, let me turn on screen record so I can show you what I'm looking at here. They have loads. Turn off this auto refresh. So I mean, do I want to go to Mission Viejo to Chino? I don't want to go all the way to Mission Viejo. Poway is going home and then back to Beaumont. That's the opposite direction. It is what, 5:11. I'm looking to be in Spring Valley to watch that Iron Bowl over at my folks' house. So not really looking to do that. This Paris one seems interesting, but I don't like that it has 6 stops. Kind of like what I was saying earlier. They start canceling those stops. If they turn that into 4, all of a sudden $320 turns into what? So it just, here's another 6 stop, not going to do that. Here's one decent rate going out to Santa Clarita. The problem with Santa Clarita is it's more than 100 air miles from where I start from. I would be in violation of my clock. Cathedral City, this one would be nice, but I mean, I could legally go there, but I'm looking to head south to Beaumont, no. Rialto to KONT, the airport there, not going out to Rialto and then back there for 277. Highland to Beaumont. I mean, all these end, and then Poway back up to Riverside. So, I mean, you can see there are loads. KONT going to Drupa Valley, but it's 4 stops for $280. No. KONT to Beaumont. Again, that would be great, but it's heading in the wrong direction. None of these are going south. And then here's, I mean, I'm right by this one. DUR9 to San Bernardino, $221. The thing is I don't want to be in San Bernardino at 11:46. So you can see there are loads. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give this about 15 more minutes, see if I can get a southbound load. If not, I'm going to go see what's happening in San Diego. Would I head over to Irvine for an extra $700? You bet your ass I would. They just scooted those back to, I think the pickup time's like 7 or 7:01. According to this, I'm going to arrive at 6:57. It's going to involve some toll roads. It's cool. I got my transponder on the truck, and we are heading to Irvine. watching the San Diego load board all the way down here from Irvine, and there was just absolutely nothing. So normally I'd say like, oh, I'll hang around for like 15-20 minutes, see what's dropping. There is absolutely nothing going on. They got a trailer recovery up in going back up to Moreno Valley, but not for great money. Let me just show you what I'm looking at here. Turn this thing on, head over to load board here. I mean, I still have 3 hours left on my hours of service, but let's just throw in here Otay power only. There's the trailer recovery. I'm not going back up to Moreno Valley for $294, and then the next one starts tonight at 5:30. I'll be done by then. Let's just double check here. Scorecard. Let's be sure we hit all the marks last night. Filters. Let's put this thing on last week or weekly. Apply that. 100, 100, 100, 100. I'm going to leave this load board going just in case they drop a Chula Vista one, like what I'm going to pass on the 125. But when I get past those, calling it a day. Unless they drop one of those, next stop is the yard. All right, just made it back to the yard. Took a picture when I started, took a picture at the end. I'll break down all the numbers at the end, but it looks like I did last night on about 40 gallons of fuel. I know I broke $2,000, and not bad for, you know, I mean, hey, I didn't set my new record, but you know, I'll take it. Not bad for what am I at, 13 and a half hours of being on duty. Let's go ahead and screen record this and go off duty. Actually, let's change this to on. I just looked over the truck. Got to add a little bit of coolant. When the coolant cools down a little bit, it's like a little bit low. So let's do this here. Post trip is good. Save that. Yep. Not now. Didn't use the trailer last night, so I'm not too worried about that. Logs. And let's go off duty. And it tells me 4 unidentified trips. Oh, that was last night. That was driving. All these are driving. I don't know why sometimes it doesn't claim all the trips. Driving. Driving. Trip could not be claimed. I'm just going to keep hitting this button until it tells me it claims all of them because they're all driving. Trip claimed. Claimed. Trip could not be claimed. Alright, off duty. Let's go back home here and just see. 2 hours and 29 minutes left in my 16-hour day. I'm not going to use all of it. I'm calling it quits here. Got that Alabama-Auburn game here in about 3 hours. So, as always, hope this video serves you well. Appreciate you taking the trip with me. Take care.